I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on GBN, we're diving into a thrilling paranormal romance where magic, passion, and inner demons collide. The name of the book, Voodoo Magic, I Can Do Bad, Book One. It is written by a terrific author. Her name is Talithacumi Benetrix, and this powerful fantasy blends alpha romance with mysticism and emotional depth as Tyra battles to maintain control while resisting a dangerously irresistible man with a mysterious past. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her on TV today. We ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below this interview. Talitha Kumi, thank you so much for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Crawford. It's a joy to be here.
The joy to have you on the show. I know you're from New Orleans, and a big part of the culture there is voodoo. So I guess in
Yes.
some ways it only made sense for you to blend voodoo magic with romance. Tell us a little bit about the inspiration.
Well, it's really I had two pet peeves with 'cause I'm a big reader and I had two
Mhm.
pet peeves for romance novels. One was the emotional connection happened very fast. By chapter two, they're like, "I'm willing to die for you," and I'm like, "That's not quite how that works."
Right.
And then my second pet peeve was it's always the perfect handsome male that saves the female, and I'm like,
Mm,
also very not how that works. So
right,
I kind of
exactly.
wanted to make it a little more realistic while still having that fun fantasy romantic aspect to it.
Absolutely. And I absolutely think you succeeded. How would you describe Tyra as a heroine and what makes her stand out?
Well, I think really as a heroine, I would describe her as blunt.
Mhm.
She's a very blunt but sincere character.
Mhm.
She struggles with social situations, and sometimes she says things that probably are not appropriate for the situation, but she means them in the best of ways, and she'll give out the best advice, and she's the ride or die, but she definitely is one of those that is like, why would you do that? And they're like, why would you say that right now? And they're like, because this is when it happened right now. So
Right. Exactly. What is it about the Playboy Alpha that threatens Tyra's peace?
because the more she gets to know him, the more she realizes there's layers to him. It's
Mhm.
not just oh, I'm the alpha, I can get anybody that I want, I'm desirable. There's more of he shows up when she doesn't even expect him to, but she needs him to. He's there to support her through situations, and she's like, you're actually dependable and reliable and funny and helps bring out the better parts of me.
Absolutely compliments her. Talk to us a little bit about the research you did do on voodoo and spiritual practices for the book.
Well, it was okay. So I'll admit there was very little research that went into it just because the name Voodoo Magic really came from the way they describe his scent, because it is an alpha omega dynamic situation in the story. They're talking about, so alphas have very strong scents. They're very noticeable, like putting on a cologne. So they're talking about it, and they have this mysterious element that nobody can really quite put their finger on, but it kind of identifies them as an alpha. And the title for the book actually came from when they're all sitting down and they're trying to kind of figure out what his scent reminds them of. And Voodoo Magic gets brought up, and they're like, because he is also from New Orleans. And everybody knows voodoo is a New Orleans thing. So they're like, oh, he smells like voodoo magic. And of course, Tyra's like, what does that even smell like? What are y'all talking about? So voodoo magic is not necessarily a construct to the magic of the book. It's
Right.
more of a reference to the magic of their dynamic.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Now, this is book one. How many books are you planning?
About eight or nine. So there should be
Wow.
about, yes.
That's very ambitious. So you've got this big storyline in mind. Tell us a little bit about your vision.
Well, it's a lot of people, when I say that, think I have their story is going to continue, but it's not necessarily Tyra's story that'll continue. It's so the friend group story. So the next book will be her friend Eliana's story. Sneak peek. Um, you'll get bits and pieces of Tyra's story because it's obviously it's not going to start after Tyra's story has ended. It'll kind of start shortly after, we'll say, the official ending of the book before the conclusion, the epilogue. So you'll still get bits and pieces of Tyra's story and watch as their relationship continues to unfold, but the focus will shift a bit, and it'll do that for every book.
Very cool. Very cool. If your book was turned into a movie or a TV series, who would you cast as Tyra and the Alpha?
Ooh, that is a good question. So I'm not sure because, dang, caught me off guard with that one.
It's
So
tough. I
it
mean,
would,
there's so many actors out there now. There's so many streaming networks that there's so many stars that it's hard to keep up with everybody.
yes, it definitely is. If I had to pick one for Tyra and Fabian, I would definitely have to pick. Honestly, I hate to say this because I feel like he's such a well-known actor, but I think like it would have to be like Will Smith, just because he plays off. He does the playboy actor very well, but he also does the emotional, the deeper character very well as well. As far as Tyra goes, and some people might cast hate on me because there's a definite age gap, but I'm not thinking of an age gap. I would have to do China and McLean
Great. Well, I think it's
because
great casting, despite the age
yes,
gap.
yes, it is. It is quite the age gap, but just because I feel like those two actors represent the characters very well. So
Absolutely.
I definitely, that would be my pick.
So when you were writing this, did you envision it as a TV series or a series of movies?
Honestly, I don't know a single writer that doesn't do that.
Mhm.
But more along the lines, you realize when you're writing, you get caught up more in the story than you do, oh, I can just see it now, and this is who's going to be cast as this, and that'll be that person,
Right.
and this will look like this. And you're so caught up in this. My favorite parts of writing are is when I'm typing it up and the random stuff I didn't even plan pops up. And he'll be like, oh, and I'm so mad at your sister. And I'll be like, dang, I didn't even know that character had a sister. Like,
Exactly. Exactly. Tell us about your writing career. Is this your first time writing a book or have you written other stuff?
it is. I've been writing since I was very small.
Mm,
So it's definitely not my first time writing, but this is my first time writing a book.
mm.
And my mom has been my biggest supporter. She literally, I was so all over the place when I was young and I was writing, and she would tell me, she'd be like, Tal, I want you to finish at least 3 chapters before you try and read this to me. Because I would get so excited over everyone. And I'm like, I have to share it with you. And she's like, can we get a little further along in this one before we share it?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'm glad your mom is there to have your back and support you as well she should because you're doing great. This book is wonderful. Um,
Yeah.
how does your city, New Orleans, impact you, affect you, influence you as a creator, as a writer?
Well, it impacts me mostly because of the experiences that I've had here, both good and bad. I am biracial,
Mhm.
so I kind of get to see the little nuances of New Orleans that most people don't see or talk about. Um, so it's definitely I've gotten to see the little gossipy sides of New Orleans as well as the brighter aspects, the music, the inclusivity, all of that, and it all plays a part because it all shapes who I am.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What do you hope readers take away from your book after they turn that last page? Do you hope they're left with something, maybe to get the sequel? That'd be good.
Yes, that
But
yes.
also, any message in there for readers?
Mostly that it's okay to not feel love in the same way that everyone else does. In my book, one thing I wanted to avoid was, the butterfly feeling. because everybody knows in romance, oh, I felt butterflies in my stomach, or he just made me so giddy and happy. And that was one thing I wanted to stay away from because as a person myself, I've never felt that way. And it was kind of jarring when I was reading romances, and I know when I first got into it, it kind of made me feel like maybe I was doing something wrong, maybe there was something wrong with me. Why don't I feel this way whenever I have crushes or anything like that? And I kind of want the message to be it's okay. You know, it love is beautiful in all shapes and forms, and it doesn't always have to look the exact same way
It
or
doesn't have
feel
to
for
be
that
cookie
matter.
cutter, and this book is not cookie cutter, that's for sure. The name of the book is Voodoo Magic, I Can Do Bad, Book One. It is an unforgettable journey into magic, romance, and self-discovery. Talithacumi, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
Great having you on the show. I appreciate your wit, your wisdom, and your insight. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford for the Global Book Network. So long for now.